One of the questions that I wanted to ask you about was in monogamous relationships, a lot of people, they've been together for a while, maybe they have kids together. There's the challenge of where do you even find space for intimacy and or like what do you do when it becomes mechanical? Like what do you tell those different people when they come in your office?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a lot of reasons that can happen for people. And sometimes the multiple roles we play, one might take up more space for some reason, right? So depending on how old kids are, your relationship with your identity as a parent, right? I came from a wild background. I came from wolves. So if I were a parent, there could be a part of me that really wants to hyper focus on being a good parent, even if that means sacrificing other parts of myself, including my erotic self. And that might happen without even my like awareness, right? So that can be going on for people. And what I think about when we get curious and ask those questions, like what may be slowing that down, typically what I hear is people don't have skills to talk about sex. And so it feels like, well, if I allow you to make out with me, even in this 10 minutes of like downtime we have together, that means we're going to have to like go all the way. And I don't have that in me. So we have this moment for connection. We're kind of exhausted. I don't want to have like full sex. I don't even call it full sex. I don't have sex like that. I maybe just want a little bit of pleasure. So we got to make it okay for a little bit of pleasure to be in the mix. And within that, then, if we shift our perspective to this is all just fanning the flames of desire for when there is more time and space for us to explore that. So I could make out, with someone for 10 minutes, like it's middle school and we're playing 10 minutes in heaven. And that could be on Monday morning and be like Friday night, you're going to be really warmed up if our connection is being stoked like that. The other thing is just making time for it. There's a lot of systems that don't want you to recognize that you're worthy of pleasure. So I think about capitalism. If I think I'm worthy of pleasure and I go into work and, Vicky, who was my office mate, left, and now I have her work pushed on top of me. If I don't think I'm worthy of pleasure and taking up space, I might not push back on that. I might allow that extra work to come on to me. But if I think I deserve pleasure and I deserve to take up space in the world, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm happy to do Vicky's work. Where's the pay upgrade? Like, I'm gonna be doing more. And that system is not gonna like that. And so collectively, there is this sense that like pleasure is somehow bad. The idea that like you wanting it just to have pleasure is bad and wrong. So sometimes people struggle to make time because they are in systems that have taught them time and again that that's kind of silliness, selfishness, that's hedonistic, that's for, teenagers, and you're an adult and a parent, and that's what you ought to be. But the real switch up to me in that is if any part of our identity, being like an individual, being a partner, and being in a family, if any one of those doesn't get enough attention or any of those get too much attention, it could really have our system get off balance. If I'm too much in the parent space and I miss you as a partner, I might start to get resentful. If I'm too much in my individual space and you feel like you're doing all the parenting, you're probably gonna get resentful. So like it takes an ongoing balance in creating that, including in the erotic space.
And that's also, I think, what can leave those seeds of desire by being unkept. It's like that's where things like affairs can happen, whether it's physical,
Hmm.
emotional, all of that stuff. It's a desire for something that was an original spark for the relationship that often can go off sideways just because people want to feel
Yeah.
wanted. And so it's important to, I think, from my perspective as a therapist, to be curious and enough with your partner and creating a safe space to look at like what can we do to make this feel like something that we could do without it being like a demand.
And you'd have to be really comfortable with sex, which we don't teach people often in American society to do. I don't know about you, Billy, but I had a driver's ed instructor teach me about sex, and I had to label where Virginia was on a woman. And I said, Do
Ah,
you, Virginia? Is that what you really mean, dog? And he was like, Don't be smart. I was like, Okay.
that's awesome.
So, yeah, oh well. My education system failed me, but that's part of why I do what I do and helping people understand like, hey, if you don't have the skills to have these conversations or the framework to think about this, that's okay. You come from a system likely that didn't teach you how to do these things. And now it's time. So you're gonna learn.